Determine the designated router and backup designated router, DR and BDR. Addressing table, three routers, okay, three routers connected on a multi-access network. Okay, each router is configured with a physical interface and loopback interface. Examine DR designated router and BDR backup designated router, changing roles. Wait until the amber link lights turn green. When you first open the file in Packet Tracer, you may notice that the link lights for the switch are amber. These link lights will stay amber for 50 seconds while the STP protocol on the switch makes sure that one of the routers is not another switch. Okay, wait for the green triangles, the green indicators. Verify the current OSPF neighbor states. Use the appropriate command on each router to examine the current designated router and backup designated router. If a router shows full DR other, it means that the router is not designated router or backup designated router. On array, show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, go to array, command line interface, enter, enable, show IP OSPF neighbor, enter. Now you will see two neighbors, two lines, okay, RB and RC. They are the OSPF neighbors of RA. And look at the neighbor ID is 192.168.31.33. Okay, 31.33 is RC. Okay, and also you can identify this router using the address 192.168.1.3. This physical address 192.168.1.3, or using the neighbor ID that in this case is the loopback interface is the neighbor ID. Okay, and this is RC. This is RC, and RC is the designated router. Okay, designated router. The next line shows 3122. This loopback interface 3122 for RB. Okay, and RB is the backup designated router. Backup designated router RB. Okay, the same command on RB. Command line interface, enter, enable, show IP OSPF neighbor, enter. You will see two neighbors, 3111. 3111 is RA, and RA is the designated router other. Okay, so designated router other is not the designated router and is not the backup designated router. Okay, is other. And 3133 RC 3133 is the designated router. Finally, go to RC, the command line interface of RC, and you will see the output, enter, enable, show IP OSPF neighbor, enter. You will see two neighbors for RC. The neighbors for RC are RB and RA, and 3111 is RA, and RA is the designated router other, and 3122 is the backup designated router. Okay, which router is the designated router? The designated router is RC. Which router is the backup designated router? The backup designated router is RB. What is the OSPF state of router RA? Okay, you will see this on RC. Okay, 3111 is the neighbor ID and this is RA, and the state is designated router other. But on RA, you can see also on RA, you can verify this. Okay, but, you will see this 3133 is RC and 3122 is RB. But to view my own state, you can use show IP OSPF interface. Enter. Okay, show IP OSPF interface. In my gigabit 00 interface, in my gigabit 00 here, gigabit 00, the state is designated router other. Okay. This is another way to verify. Turn on IPOSPF adjacency debugging. You can monitor the DR and BDR election process with a debug command. On RA and RB, enter the following command. Okay, on privilege exec mode, debug IPOSPF adjacency. Okay, go to RA, enter debug IPOSPF ADJ. Okay, enter. Okay, OSPF adjacency events debugging is on. Also on RB, access RB, debug IP OSPF ADJ. Enter. Okay, it's on. Disable gigabit Ethernet 00 interface on RC. Shutdown command. Okay. Disable this interface gigabit 00 on RC. Remember, RC is the designated router, and I will shut down gigabit 00. Okay. Configure terminal interface gigabit 00 shutdown. And okay, very good. And now you can see the red indicator. The interface is shut down. Wait about 30 seconds for the dead timers to expire on RA and RB. Okay, and wait 30 seconds. And according to the debug output, which router was elected, designated router, and which router was elected, backup designated router. Okay, remember RC was the designated router, but when the interface is shut down, RC is not part of the network. RC is not part of the OSPF network. So verify after 30 seconds. Okay, go to RB and look at the debug. At the end of the debug, you can see the backup designated router is 3111. Now the backup designated router is 3111 is RA. Remember, previously RA was the designated router other, and now is the backup designated router. And the designated router is 192.168, 3122, and 3122 is the router RB. Now RB is the designated router. Remember, previously RB was the backup designated router, and now is the designated router when RC is not present. Okay, RB is now the designated router. according to the debug output, which router was selected designated router and which router was selected backup designated router RB and backup designated router RA. Restore gigabit 00 interface on RC. Okay, re-enable the link between RC and the switch. Okay, go to RC, access interface gigabit 00 and no shutdown. Okay, and you will see the green indicator. Okay, but wait a moment to this amber indicator turns green. Okay, wait for the new designated router backup designated router elections to occur. Okay, but wait a moment for the green indicator here. Okay, wait about 30 seconds. Okay, now you have the green indicators. Okay, did designated router and backup designated router roles change? Explain. Okay, and verify. Go, for example, to RC, enter, and to go privilege access mode and use show IP OSPF neighbor. Enter. Okay, and you have two neighbors. Okay, and RC has two neighbors, RB and RA. Okay, and 3111 is RA and is the backup designated router, and 3122 is the designated router. Okay, no changes. Okay, and verify the state of RC. You can use show IP OSPF interface. Enter. On gigabit 00 on RC gigabit 00, you can verify here the state is designated router other. Okay, is other. Did designated router and backup designated roles change? Explain. No changes, because OSPF does not update the designated router and backup designated router when the existing ones are active. Okay, if the designated router is available, in this case RB, the OSPF process will not change the designated router, okay? Will not elect a new designated router. Okay, the same way with the backup designated router. If backup designated router is available, the OSPF process will not elect a new device. Okay, and verify on RC, already done. Okay, disable gigabit 00 interface on RB. Okay, remember now RB is the designated router and RA is the backup designated router, and now shut down gigabit 00 interface on RB. This interface on RB shut down. Go to RB, enter, configure terminal, interface gigabit 00 shut down, enter. Okay, wait about 30 seconds. Okay, and wait a moment. Now you can see the red indicator that indicates that interface gigabit 00 on RB is shut down. According to the debug output on RA, which router was selected designated router, in which router was selected backup designated router. Okay, go to RA, this router RA, and at the end you can see this. The backup designated router is 192.168.31.33. This is RC, backup designated router BDR, and the designated router is 3111, and 3111 is RA. And now RA is the designated router and RC the backup designated router. Restore gigabit 00 interface on RB. Okay, go to RB interface gigabit 00, no shutdown, no space shutdown, enter. Okay, wait for the new designated router and backup designated router elections to occur. Did designated router and backup designated router roles change? Explain. Okay, and wait for the green indicator here. Okay, now you have the green indicator. Wait about 30 seconds and answer this question. Go to RB, enter, and to go privilege exec mode and show IP OSPF network. Enter. And now you have two lines for the two networks. The networks for RB are RA and RC. And 3111 is RA. Is the designated router, okay, is still the designated router, and 3133 is the backup designated router, and 3133 is RC, is the backup designated router. Okay, very nice. And no changes, no changes. Okay, did DR and BDR roles change? Explain. Okay, no changes. Roles did not change because the current designated router and backup designated router are still active. A router that comes online with a higher router ID will not assume the backup designated router role until the backup designated router fails. Show IP OSPF interface on RC. Go to RC, enter. Show IP OSPF interface, enter. What is the status of router RC now? Okay, on gigabit 00, you can see the status of RC is state backup designated router. Okay, and is still the backup designated router. No changes. Turn off debugging. Okay, enter a command on debug all on RA and RB. Okay. RA, enter, enable on debug all, enter. Okay, and RB, go to RB and on debug all, enter. Very good. Turn it off. Very good. And modify OSPF priority and force elections. Configure OSPF priorities on each router. To change the designated router and backup designated router, use the IP OSPF priority command. To configure the gigabit 00 port of each router with the following OSPF interface priorities. For RA, priority 200. For RB, priority 100. For RC, priority 1. This is the default priority. This is the example for RA. Enter interface gigabit 00 and set the priority IP OSPF priority 200 for RA. 200. Okay. And set the priority on router RB and RC. Okay, start with RA. Okay, configure terminal. Okay, and enter this interface that is connected to the switch gigabit 00, interface gigabit 00, and priority 200 IP OSPF priority 200 and 200 enter. Now RB 100, go to RB, click here, configure terminal, interface, gigabit 00, IP OSPF, priority 100. Okay, enter. Very good. And on RC1, the default, okay, go to RC, enter, configure terminal, interface, gigabit 00, IP OSPF, priority 1, enter. Okay, force an election by resetting the OSPF process. Starting with router RA, issue the clear IP OSPF process on each router. Okay, go to RA, okay, to apply changes, okay, and to go privilege exit mode, okay, and to apply changes and force a new election, use this command, clear IP OSPF process. Clear IP OSPF process. Enter. Reset all. Yes. Enter. Now go to RB. Enter and to go privilege exit mode and clear IP OSPF process. Enter. Yes. Enter. Very good. And go to RC. Enter and okay. Clear IP OSPF. Okay. Sorry, enter, clear IP OSPF process, enter, and yes, okay, very good. And now wait a moment and finally verify designated router and backup designated router elections were successful. Wait long enough for OSPF to converge for the designated router and backup designated router election to occur. This should take a few minutes. Okay, and according to the output, the show IP OSPF network command on the routers, which router is now designated router and which router is now backup designated router. Okay, remember RA has the priority 200 and RA is the highest priority, so this should be the designated router. Okay, RA should be the designated router. RB has a priority of 100 and should be the backup designated router. Okay, RB the backup designated router, and RC should be the designated router other. Okay, RC the other. Okay, and wait a minute and now verify. Go to RC, enter, and use this command, show IP OSPF neighbors. Show IP OSPF neighbors. Enter. Okay, and now you will see 3111 is the designated router with priority 200. Okay, 3111 priority 200 designated router. Okay, as expected, is the designated router. And 3122 is the RB and is the backup designated router. Okay, as expected, RB is the backup designated router. Very nice. And verify the state of RC. You can use show IP OSPF interface, show IP OSPF interface to verify my own state. Enter gigabit 00. The state is designated router other because my priority is only one, a lower value than 100 and 200. Okay, very nice. Completion 100%. Thank you very much.